swing, 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 swing. Hi, Mama.
Hi everybody, it's Sabrina. I am doing this a lot later than I'd like. This guy is 11 days old already, and I wanted to do my 1 week update. Well, 1 week of him being 1 week old. But things have been busy, so it's been difficult to find or take the time to do a video. He has been constantly wanting to eat, like constantly, it feels like. I'm holding him all the time, which isn't a bad thing. I love the baby snuggles, but it does make it difficult to get much done around the house, or I've been needing to get some farm paperwork done, and it just hasn't happened. I'm finding it very, very difficult to sit down at the computer to do paperwork because I need to have both my hands and I need to have my brain. And when he wants me to hold him or nurse him or whatever the case may be, it is very difficult to get any of that stuff done. This is our second week where we haven't been doing any homeschooling. I decided to take 2 weeks off because, well, we started homeschooling early this year so that we could take 2 weeks off. And so what I've been trying to do is go over a bunch of the stuff that I missed doing in the prior weeks, and I am finding myself very discouraged. So yeah, my emotions have been all over the place, and sleep has been difficult because he wants me to hold him to sleep. I did manage to last night get him to sleep in his cradle, and the night before I got him to sleep in his cradle for a couple of hours, but then he wanted me to hold him again. So you like to be held, don't you? Yeah, they do this little thing with their jaw. It's really funny. I literally just fed him, but he's acting like he wants to eat again, so I don't know. I had issues before where I was obviously making too much milk. I think you might need to be burped again, hey? I think I was making too much milk and it was really sore. Like, I've been really sore. His latch isn't... His initial latch is not great, it hurts. And then, like, very shortly thereafter, it's fine. So, and I can't seem to get him to open up more for a better latch in the beginning. So I'm not sure why that is an issue. He wants to suck on my shoulder now. The kids have been adapting very well to having him in the house. They love their little baby brother. So that's a bonus. Interesting thing, his umbilical stump actually came off when he was only 5 days old. I know a lot of people, they figure it's supposed to be like 1 week, like 7 days to like maybe 3 days is when it comes off, but I've noticed that the hospitals, they use the clamp that they use, they don't take those off. They keep them on for quite a while, like, well, they just keep them on, and then you are buttoning up onesies and sleepers and whatnot around these big, because they're quite big, they're like this big, these little plastic clamps that are on the umbilical stump. And they hook on things, and then when they start to come off, it's like that's it. Then the whole thing comes off, and then you're dealing with a belly button that's not quite fully ready to have had the stump off. So you're not supposed to do anything with it. You're not supposed to make it wet. You're not supposed to have a bath until, like, give him a bath until the umbilical stump has come off, because you don't want the umbilical stump to get wet. You're not supposed to use alcohol on it and all this other stuff. So I've just been keeping an eye on the belly button. The day that it came off, it actually started to smell a little bit, and but that was just the stump part. Once it came off, then like he was fine. And so I had the same issues with my last baby, and it was so hard because I was like, this was nothing like my other ones, but they took the clamps off in the hospital, so I'm not sure why they changed that policy. I don't like it. I don't like the clamps being on there. I find it very annoying. But he's been doing well. He was jaundice a little bit, just a little bit jaundice before. And he still has a little bit of yellow, just a little bit of yellow in his face. But as you can see, his face is very close in color to his hands now, and his hands never got yellowed at all. So he is a healthy, happy boy for the most part, unless I'm not holding him, then he gets cranky because he wants to be held. Right? Right, Squishy? Yeah. They grow so fast. No idea how much he weighs right now. He was 9 pounds 8 ounces at birth, and then when we left the hospital, he was 2 ounces shy of 9 pounds. And then when the public health nurse came, because we left the hospital, he was like just over a day old. The public health nurse came a few days later, actually the day after my milk came in, and he had gained back from that weight. He had gained back 1 ounce, which isn't a lot, but she said that he had probably lost more weight due to just being colostrum fed for a couple days. And then when my milk came in, he had probably gained back quite a bit more than just 1 ounce. So we'll see. His appointment for his first checkup isn't until next week. So we'll see how that goes and how much he weighs there. My healing has been doing fairly well as well. I made a mistake. I had forgotten some of the basic rules of postpartum. Sitting in a bathtub upright is fine. Laying down is not recommended until a few weeks postpartum. And when he was just 5 days old, I really wanted to soak in the tub because my lower back was still bothering me quite a bit. And I got comfy and I lay down, and then after that I had some extra blood loss from that, and I think it just kind of opened things up a bit. Oh, you're leaving me a present. So yeah, I don't recommend doing that. I was checking my own uterus before, and it was interesting how after even a few days the uterus was still quite large, very solid, felt like a boulder in there. And then after I had the soak in the tub, I tried checking for my uterus like a couple days later. I hadn't bothered checking every day, and I couldn't find it, which I was wondering then if it had gotten really small or if it was just not as tight as it was before. Yesterday morning I checked it again, and I could find it this time, so it had gotten solid again, and it's about half the size that it was before. So I have a feeling that the soak in the tub, because I used the Epsom salts and the magnesium tends to relax muscles, I have a feeling it relaxed the uterine muscles a bit too much there, and they were not as tight and firm as they needed to be. But they tightened up again, and once again everything is back to being good. So it's not very small yet. It's still quite big. I'm not sure how many weeks pregnant that kind of correlates with, because it does kind of probably contribute to why my belly is still sticking out so much, because I do look like I'm still pregnant. I have had many comments already about, you know, people asking when that's going to go back down to normal and everything else, and I'm not expecting it to look back to being what it was before I got pregnant until I'm about 6 months postpartum, because that's about how long it took with my last daughter. However, because I do know I have diastasis, I am able to do some things better this time that I didn't know to do with my daughter. I started exercising a little too early with her in terms of doing things like planks and sit-ups and stuff, and that's a big no-no. Don't do them. When you have muscle separation, do not do them. Do not do them until like way later. Check your muscles first before you start them, because you do not want to have the separation and then do that, because it actually separates the muscles further. Getting up in the morning, I've already learned how to do that, so you don't use your muscles to get up. I roll onto my side, and then I use my arms to push myself up, and that is the best way to prevent that muscle separation from getting further. Actually, I'm gonna have to try and see if I can do this again. Show you guys my belly here. Like I said, it looks like I'm still pregnant because I've got that separation. So when I go like this, you can see there's where the muscles end, and this whole area here bulges out. There's no muscles there. So it's just, yeah. So I don't know if you can see that very well. Muscles end about here and here. So this whole area, there's no muscles. So I have not actively been doing much to try and move the muscles back together yet. There's a few different workouts you can do to help move everything back together, and I have not taken the time to do them. All I'm doing right now is trying to engage my lower transverse muscles when I walk and stuff, basically just by drawing the belly button into the spine. And that's about all I have been doing right now. I have not been walking much. It's wintry weather here right now, so yeah, yes it is. So going for walks doesn't work very well with a baby. I do walk around the table a lot. So we'll see how quickly I am able to make these muscles move back together. I have a couple, those bands that I showed you before, that I could no longer use after a while, or the blue one. I'm trying to use it every so often to try and help sort of bind the belly a little bit, but it is so worn out, and it's okay. It's just not working very well. I might need to just buy an actual band for that. Oh, you're getting so upset. Yeah. So we'll see if I actually do that or not. I generally don't tend to buy myself things, so likely not. If anybody knows of any of those types of things that work really well and can let me know in the comments, that would be great. I at least would like to. It's hard to just go ahead and buy something if you have no idea whether or not it's beneficial. So if anybody has experiences with any particular belly bands, postpartum belly bands and such like that, it would be nice to have your input on that. Yeah, basically things are trucking along, trying to get some sleep, trying to get back into routines again, because we're going to start homeschooling again on Monday, and I am wanting longer of a break, but I also really want Christmas to have a nice long break. I like to have a long Christmas break because I adore Christmas, and I like doing all sorts of other things with the kids instead of school. I don't want to do school at Christmas time. I mean, we still do learn things. One of our favorite things is learning about other countries and what they do at Christmas time, like other cultures and stuff, and so I'm excited to do that again this year. But we'll see how things go, how much energy I find myself in. I'm hoping this guy will start sleeping all night in his cradle instead of only for one in between feeding section and then craving me for the rest of the night, because it's very difficult to sleep for me while holding a baby, because I always feel like I had actually the first few days. When my milk came in, probably I think that was that night, I had nightmares that I would wake up and I'm holding him and that he was not responding. That is a terrible, terrible thing to wake up to, and then you end up like nudging the baby, is he still alive? And yes, okay, whew, that's good, but go and put him in the cradle, and then he cries and cries and cries and cries, and then I'm sitting up with him and afraid to go back to sleep, and it's just a recipe for disaster. Like, I had so many meltdowns because I was not getting sleep, and your body needs to heal too, and your body needs sleep to heal. So it does make things very difficult. The first week for me is always very difficult. Nursing, trying to relearn how to nurse and trying to teach the little one and teach yourself, because you're both learning again. Even if you've done it many times, you have more tricks and tips that you've got under your belt from the previous babies. Oh, there we go. But you're still relearning with a new baby because each baby is different. But he's been great for burping. It's wonderful. Usually he burps very easily. But I think that we're done now because he is rooting again. I don't know. This kid is like, in the evenings, it's like constantly nursing. It is actually becomes quite painful after a while. So, growing boy. Anyways, that will be it for me for his 1 week and my 1 week postpartum update. And I'll see if I can load some video of the diastasis, the belly, how it looks. It's very, it's not very pretty. I'll just let you know that it's not, it's not pretty at this point. But I know I was always interested or curious about if it was just me that had weird bellies, a weird feeling belly after baby, but it's not. So we'll see what I'm able to come up with later on. So that's it for me for now, and I just hope you all have a blessed week. Are you going to say goodbye, or are you going to be cranky? Can you say goodbye?